really control the number of folks that are coming in and making claims for refugee asylum.
In an immigrant community where you need to compete for rental housing or for jobs with the newcomers,
Canada, a land of stunning mountains, maple syrup, and a surprisingly strong stance on immigration? For decades, Canada's open-door policy has been its calling card. But recently, things have gotten more complex. Is Canada closing its borders? Is it still the welcoming haven it once was? The truth, as with most things, is far more interesting. Canada is undergoing significant demographic shifts that are reshaping the nation's future. On one hand, people are living longer due to advances in healthcare and overall quality of life, leading to an increase in the aging population. On the other hand, women in Canada are having fewer children compared to previous generations. These changes have substantial implications for the country's population structure and economic stability. Addressing these issues requires a multifaceted approach, including ambitious immigration policies. The average life expectancy at birth in Canada is currently 82 years, one of the highest in the world. This increase in longevity is a positive indicator of the country's health and social systems. However, it also means that a larger portion of the population is reaching retirement age, resulting in a higher dependency ratio. The dependency ratio measures the number of dependents, children, and elderly supported by the working-age population. As more Canadians live longer, the proportion of elderly people increases, placing greater pressure on the working-age population to support them through taxes and social services. At the same time, the fertility rate has dropped significantly over the past few decades. In 1960, women in Canada had an average of 3.8 children, but this number has fallen to just 1.5 children per woman.
The rate of children born per woman in Canada in 2022 dwindled to 1 1/3, the lowest recorded in more than a century.
This decline in birth rates poses challenges for maintaining a balanced and youthful workforce. A lower fertility rate means fewer young people entering the labor market, which can lead to a shrinking workforce and potential labor shortages. This demographic trend necessitates a strategic response to ensure the country's economic stability. To address these demographic challenges, Canada has set an ambitious goal of reaching a population of 100 million by the year 2100. This target, almost 3 times the current population of approximately 38 million, aims to ensure the country's economic sustainability and growth. Achieving this goal relies heavily on immigration, as natural population growth is insufficient to meet these targets. In 2022, Canada welcomed over 437,000 new immigrants, the highest number recorded in a single year. This reflects the country's proactive approach to immigration as a solution to its demographic issues. The government's focus on immigration is not only about numbers, but also about the economic contributions that immigrants bring. Newcomers fill critical gaps in the labor market, support industries that are experiencing labor shortages, and contribute to the overall economic dynamism of the country. Immigrants also bring diverse skills, cultural perspectives, and innovation, which are essential for a vibrant and competitive economy. Canada's aggressive immigration policy is driven by several key factors. Firstly, there is a need to replace the aging workforce. As more people retire, the gap in the labor market must be filled to maintain economic productivity. Retirees create vacancies that need to be filled to ensure that businesses and public services continue to operate efficiently. Secondly, with fewer children being born, the population is not naturally replenishing itself at a sustainable rate. Immigration is essential to counterbalance this decline and to maintain a stable and growing population. Additionally, Canada aims to populate its northern provinces, which cover almost 40% of the country's territory but are home to only about 115,000 people. These regions, rich in unexploited natural resources, hold significant economic and strategic importance. The government hopes that by increasing the population in these areas, it can better exploit and protect these resources. The northern regions, particularly the Arctic, are believed to contain approximately 22% of the world's untapped hydrocarbon reserves. As global warming causes Arctic ice to melt, new shipping routes and opportunities for resource extraction are emerging, making these areas economically and strategically vital. Despite the clear benefits, sustaining high levels of immigration poses significant challenges. Most immigrants prefer to settle in the southern regions of Canada, where the climate is milder and economic opportunities are more abundant. Approximately 60% of Canadians live in just 2 provinces, Ontario and Quebec. Cities like Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver are particularly attractive due to their established infrastructure, job markets, and existing immigrant communities. This concentration of population in urban areas leads to severe housing shortages. The sudden influx of new residents has caused rental prices to soar, making housing unaffordable for many. In Toronto, for example, the vacancy rate has dropped to 1.9%, the lowest in 21 years, due to the high demand from immigrants and other residents. The tight housing market has led to significant rent increases, ranging from 10% to 26% annually. This makes it challenging for newcomers to find affordable housing, forcing some to leave the city or even the country. Cost of housing in Canada. During the COVID-19 pandemic, central banks around the world, including the Bank of Canada, lowered interest rates to stimulate the economy. This made borrowing money cheaper, leading many people to take on debt to buy homes. Even high-income families purchased additional properties to escape lockdowns, driving up demand and prices in suburban areas. As a result, housing prices skyrocketed, reaching levels not seen since the housing bubble of 1981. In 2023, although housing prices began to decline, high inflation prompted the Canadian Central Bank to raise interest rates to 4.5%, the highest level in 15 years. This increased the cost of borrowing, making home ownership even less affordable and forcing more people to remain in the rental market. As a result, rental prices continue to rise due to the high demand and limited supply of available housing. In an attempt to address the housing shortage and soaring prices, the Canadian government introduced a law in early 2023 that bans foreigners from buying residential properties for 2 years. This measure aims to reduce demand and stabilize prices, with violators facing a fine of $10,000. The government argues that this will help ensure that housing remains affordable for Canadians. However, critics argue that this approach is largely symbolic and unlikely to have a significant impact on the housing market. Foreign buyers account for a small percentage of real estate transactions, particularly in British Columbia, where they represent only 1.1% of home sales. Previous attempts to curb foreign investment, such as imposing additional taxes, have not stopped prices from rising. The effectiveness of such measures is limited because the primary drivers of housing demand are domestic buyers and structural issues related to housing supply. A more effective solution to the housing crisis lies in increasing the supply of housing. This requires promoting the construction of new housing units, which is complicated by restrictive zoning regulations in major cities. These regulations often limit the types and density of housing that can be built, slowing down development and keeping supply low. To attract millions of immigrants successfully, Canada needs to align its immigration policies with strategies to expand housing availability. This involves addressing zoning laws, streamlining construction processes, and incentivizing the development of affordable housing. Governments at all levels need to collaborate with the private sector to accelerate the construction of new homes. This includes investing in infrastructure to support new housing developments, such as transportation, utilities, and public services. Innovative approaches, such as modular housing and public-private partnerships, can also help increase the housing supply more quickly and cost-effectively. Technological advancements and automation are poised to significantly impact Canada's labor market, influencing the country's need for immigration in several ways. As technology rapidly evolves, automation is increasingly becoming a central force in various industries. This transformation is reshaping the nature of work, creating both opportunities and challenges for the Canadian workforce. One of the most notable effects of automation is the displacement of traditional jobs. Routine and repetitive tasks, which once required human labor, are now being performed by machines and software. For instance, in manufacturing, robotics and automated systems can handle assembly lines with greater precision and efficiency than human workers. Similarly, in sectors such as retail and customer service, automation tools like chatbots and self-checkout systems are reducing the need for frontline staff. As a result, certain job roles are becoming obsolete, creating a need for workers to adapt to new skills and roles that technology cannot easily replicate. Change can be daunting, but it can also be an opportunity for growth. Will Canada continue to be a beacon of hope for newcomers? Only time will tell. Thanks for joining us on this journey. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more in-depth explorations of global issues.